Live from downtown Detroit, Local 4 News at 6 starts now.
Here we go again. Temperatures about to drop, turning today's rain into snow.
And to top it all off, there's a wind advisory going into effect tomorrow. The next 20 hours or so could be tricky for commuters or people spending time outside.
All right, let's check in with Kim Adams for a closer look at the changes on the way. Kim.
This is pretty extreme even for this time of year, with temperatures this afternoon in the upper 50s. By tomorrow, we're only in the upper 30s, and in between, we expect some snow. Right now, let's start with Exact Track 40 radar as we are picking up some pockets of heavier rain. You can see the yellows here. We'll get a little tighter. Madison Heights, there's a little area of yellow there, and then you go south of Inkster into Taylor, and there's also pockets of some fairly heavy rainfall. In fact, all over Metro Detroit. So we'll take a look at temperatures, and I'll show you exactly what they are in the city near you. 47 in Pontiac, still 50 in Mount Clemens, low 40s at Metro Airport, and these temperatures are already starting to drop. In fact, look at Monroe, down to 39 degrees. By tomorrow morning, we are going to be below freezing, and we'll still have some moisture left over, so we do expect some light snow. Now, the road temps are still relatively warm, but we are still seeing the possibility of some ice on untreated roadways. You probably noticed the winds have picked up a little bit as well, gusting at the airport over 30 miles per hour. Wind advisory goes into effect at 2 a.m. We'll talk more about what we're expecting for your morning commute, plus next week we're back into the 60s. I'll tell you when coming up.
Hey, Kim, thank you. We want to update you on the breaking news from the Wayne County Medical Examiner, who, with just in the past couple of hours, revealed the 2-year-old and 9-year-old who died in a car in the Hollywood casino parking structure did not freeze to death as investigators initially thought. The medical examiner is instead blaming carbon monoxide poisoning. The 2 children were brother and sister. The family was living out of their car. But how did the carbon monoxide affect some of the children and not the others? And how did this happen in an open-air parking garage? Well, those are questions we're taking to medical experts, and we'll have a full report for you tonight on Local 4 News at 11.
It's been more than 14 years since Tanner, Alexander, and Andrew Skelton disappeared from their father's house in Morenci. They were 5, 7, and 9 years old at the time of their disappearance. Over the years, we've seen age progression photos like these as loved ones tried to maintain the hope of one day finding them. But their mother now says enough time has passed. She believes her sons were killed by their father and they will never be found. And today, a judge agreed with some of that. Pamela Osborne brings us the story from Adrian in Lenawee County.
This is what Tanya Zuvers wanted. A judge declared her sons dead after nearly 15 years since they were last seen alive. But that same judge was unable to rule that a homicide had occurred.
After review of the evidence, testimony, and current law, the petition is granted in part and denied in part.
Tanya Zuvers and her attorney did not speak in court today. Instead, they listened as Lenawee County probate judge Catherine Sala granted their request.
No condolences will ever be enough for such losses suffered. These proceedings offer an opportunity to recognize the disappearance and death of these 3 brothers, but leaves many more questions unanswered.
5-year-old Tanner, 7-year-old Alexander, and 9-year-old Andrew Skelton disappeared in 2010. They had been visiting their father, John Skelton, at his Morenci home for the Thanksgiving holiday. The boys should have been returned to Zuvers the following day. Instead, they were never seen again. John Skelton did not participate in today's ruling and was never charged with the disappearances of Tanner, Alexander, and Andrew. He's serving out a 15-year prison sentence for failing to return the boys to their mother. Judge Sala making it abundantly clear that her ruling was not a determination on how the boys died.
Such a voluminous amount of work by law enforcement will never be fully recognized or credited rightly, especially when such a loss still remains unresolved.
Zuvers declined to speak after court today, but we did hear from her in court on Monday, where she said she simply wanted to give the boys the respect that they did not get in life, and this gives her a bit of closure, being able to put a date on those headstones. As for John Skelton, he's set to be released from prison this November. In Adrian, I'm Pamela Osborne, Local 4.
And you can watch the judge's full statement from court on clickondetroit.com. Just scan the QR code on the bottom left of your screen right there, and that will take you to the story online.
President Trump is granting some U.S. automakers a one-month reprieve on new 25% duties imposed on Canada and Mexico. In his address to Congress Tuesday night, Trump indicated he would not relent on his tariffs scheme. But today, the White House confirmed Stellantis, Ford, and General Motors will all benefit from a delayed tariff. The Trump tariffs have rattled the market, sent the businesses scrambling, and consumer confidence plunging. Washington correspondent Julia Benbrook is at the White House as world leaders react to Trump's latest moves.
President Donald Trump spoke on the phone with Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau for about an hour this morning, following an extraordinary back and forth between the two leaders over a brewing trade war. Trump said that the call ended in a, quote, somewhat friendly manner. This call comes the day after Trump enacted a 25% tariff on Canada and Mexico and doubled a tariff on Chinese goods to 20%. Trump admitted that his moves would lead to a, quote, adjustment period, but seemed to double down on his tariff agenda during his joint address to Congress.
There'll be a little disturbance, but we're okay with that. It won't be much.
Members of Congress, even some in his own party, have been calling on Trump to backtrack. Democratic Senator Chris Coons warns that this could lead to a shock to the pocketbooks of millions of Americans.
Whether it's prices at the pump, the price of vehicles, the price of housing or groceries, these big tariffs and the retaliatory tariffs we will get from Mexico and Canada will create chaos in the marketplace and further raise prices.
This is just Trump's latest move on tariffs. The 25% tariff on all steel and aluminum imports is scheduled to go into effect on March 12th. And the reciprocal tariffs that could match other countries' tariffs dollar for dollar are set to start on April 2nd. At the White House, I'm Julia Benbrook.
The decision to pause the automotive tariffs seems to have given the stock market a little boost. The Dow, NASDAQ, and S&P 500 rallied today, each gaining between 1% and 2% by the end of trading.
The prosecution has rested. Now the defense is making its case in the trial of the woman accused of killing 2 kids and injuring several others in a crash during a child's birthday party in Monroe County. 27 witnesses testified against Marcella Chittister. She had a blood alcohol level of 0.18 when she crashed into the Swan Boat Club last April. But the defense is now questioning the accuracy of the blood alcohol test. Chittister's attorney says the sample should have been refrigerated after it was taken.
Did you have it in any type of a container that would have had, like, you know, sometimes lunches have an ice pack or something in there to keep it cool or keep it cold?
No.
If blood is not preserved properly and it ferments, does that cause an accurate or not an accurate test result for you when you're testing?
The defense plans to call an expert to discuss toxicology tomorrow, and possibly Chittister's husband as well could take the stand. Closing arguments from both sides will follow that.
Attorneys for Jennifer Crumbley want Oakland County Prosecutor Karen McDonald kicked off the case. In a new legal filing, they claim McDonald broke court rules in an effort to sway public opinion against the parents of the Oxford High School shooter. Will Jones is live in Oakland County tonight with how McDonald is answering back. Will.
Kimberly, Oakland County Prosecutor Karen McDonald not only spoke out today about the latest claims by the lawyer of Jennifer Crumbley, she also brought a parent of one of the Oxford shooting victims to make her point. Jennifer Crumbley's attorney, Michael Desi, filing a motion for the removal of Oakland County Prosecutor Karen McDonald from the Crumbley case and the appointment of a special prosecutor. The motion is massive, spanning 178 pages. It accuses the prosecutor of suppressing secret agreements with 2 key witnesses. It also alleges that the prosecutor's office hired 2 public relations firms to run a smear campaign against Jennifer and James Crumbley to influence public opinion and taint the jury pool.
And she did so by using taxpayer-funded public relations firms that were hired in secret by the prosecutor's office. And they hired the first one of those PR firms within hours of the shooting.
We don't need a smear campaign to convict Jennifer Crumbley. Her actions convicted Jennifer Crumbley. And to top it all off, she then testifies she wouldn't change a thing.
The father of one of the Oxford shooting victims, Steve St. Juliana, accused Jennifer Crumbley's lawyer of conducting his own smear campaign.
Stop trying to make her the victim. My daughter is the one that was murdered because of her negligence. And her, I mean by Jennifer Crumbley. Her decisions directly led to my daughter's death.
So what's next? The prosecutor's office will file a motion in response, then a hearing will be held. A date has not been set for that hearing. By the way, Jennifer Crumbley is still awaiting word on her request for a new trial. We're live in Pontiac. Will Jones, Local 4.
We'll continue to follow it. Will, thank you.
The companies behind popular weight loss treatments, Wegovy and Zepbound, are cutting prices for people without insurance. Novo Nordisk says it will drop prices 23% for all doses of Wegovy. The new monthly price is $499. That's down from $650. The new pricing is available to both the uninsured and people who have insurance that doesn't cover the weight loss drugs. Zepbound is also down to $349 for a starter dose. The price cut comes as the FDA took both drugs off its list of medicines in short supply. Well, the rumors are true. There is a new face of NBC Nightly News, and it's Tom Yamas.
Yamas will take over after Lester Holt steps down this summer. Yamas is a senior national correspondent and anchor of Top Story with Tom Yamas. It's an evening newscast that streams on NBC News Now. Well, NBC says he will continue to anchor Top Story during the week. Yamas will become the first Latino journalist to host the weeknight edition of Nightly News.